Graduation day was supposed to feel like a beginning. Instead, it felt like a slap. Was standing backstage in my cap and gown, sweaty palms, beating heart, when my phone buzzed. I thought it was Dad, finally sending something supportive. Proud of you, maybe. I can't believe my little girl made it this far. But no, it was the kind of message that changes a person, hardens them, tears something open inside. Don't expect help. You're on your own. 8 words. Cold. Final. Delivered with the emotional temperature of a granite slab. My fingers trembled around the screen. Dad had always been tough, but this was him finally saying out loud what he'd hinted at for years. I wasn't the son he wanted. I wasn't the daughter he respected. I was dead weight. I looked out over the sea of parents and families filling the stadium. People waving posters. Crying. Cheering. Dad wasn't there. He never even asked what time the ceremony started. The dean called my name. The applause felt mechanical, like someone else's victory echoing through someone else's life. But the moment I walked off that stage, diploma in hand, something settled inside me, quiet, cold, determined. I was on my own, then I would build my own world. Brick by brick, line of code by line of code. Dad's message stayed pinned to the top of my phone, not because it hurt, although it did, but because sometimes revenge isn't a plan, sometimes it's a fuel. And oh, I was full when I moved to San Francisco. 2 weeks later, I carried one suitcase, negative money in my account, and a startup folder saved as Project Phoenix. The idea that had been laughed at, dismissed, called cute. But I didn't need anyone to believe in it. I didn't even need them to understand it, just needed them to watch, because one day, Dad would learn exactly what happened when you push the helpless daughter off a cliff. Sometimes she falls, sometimes she flies. And sometimes, she builds the jet on the way down. San Francisco wasn't kind. It wasn't gentle, but it was honest, and that's all I needed. I lived in a cramped apartment with peeling paint, slept on an air mattress that hissed through the night, and coded until my fingertips felt numb. My startup, Bloomlink, was an AI-driven marketplace for small creators, artists, crafters, side hustlers, people who didn't get chances. Just like me, investors rejected me with the same excuses: too risky, too young, too ambitious. Or my favorite, said with a polite, tight smile, maybe talk to your parents for initial funding? Right, let me go ask the man who texted you're on your own. But every no sharpened me. I learned to pitch better. I learned to build faster. Learned that rejection isn't a stop sign, it's a map. And then one night, at 3:17 a.m., a notification popped up. Bloomlink has reached 10,000 active users. 10,000 people who needed someone to believe in them. 10,000 people who chose my platform. Why month 4? That number became 80,000. By month 6, 1.2 million. Suddenly, the same investors who dismissed me wanted meetings. Suddenly, articles started calling Bloomlink the future of creator commerce. Suddenly, people were emailing me opportunities one didn't even apply for. But I didn't forget the text message, not for a second. One afternoon, sitting in our tiny office with secondhand furniture and whiteboards covered in scribbles, my CFO walked in, eyes wide. Are you sitting down? He asked. No, I said. Should I be? He nodded, breath shaking. We got regulatory clearance. Our IPO goes live in 48 hours. My heart froze. This couldn't be real. Valuation estimate? I whispered. He swallowed. Between $4.80 and $6.2 billion. The air left my lungs, and my knees almost gave out, but something in me held steady. The girl who was on her own wasn't shaking anymore. 2 days later, at sunrise, Bloomlink rang the opening bell on Wall Street, and at that exact same moment, when the world finally saw me, my phone buzzed with a familiar name flashing across the screen. Dad. Calling. I didn't answer. Revenge tastes better when it's served with silence. Graduation hall, same campus. 2 years later, was invited as the keynote speaker. Yes, the same girl who once walked across that stage with a broken heart and a cheap gown. This time, I stepped into the auditorium wearing a tailored white suit, the kind that said CEO. The kind that whispered I built my life myself. Students whispered. Professors stared. Everyone recognized me. Everyone knew the story, except Dad, because he had no idea he was about to be part of the show. He came because my sister was graduating. His pride. The one he always believed would make it. He sat 3 rows from the front, arms crossed, unaware his daughter's startup had just made national headlines that morning. Bloomlink IPO thunders past $6 billion valuation. I walked to the podium. The crowd quieted, and then, my phone buzzed. I answered because it was my CFO. He never called unless something major happened. I put him on speaker without thinking. Congratulations, boss. The IPO hit 6 billion, 6.0, confirmed. You're officially, everyone heard it. Gasps. Cheers. Phones lifted, students shouting, "She's the billionaire CEO." Dad's face. God, I had imagined it 1,000 times, but nothing compared to the real thing. He froze, his eyes locked on me like he was seeing me for the first time. Shock, confusion, hurt, pride he didn't have the right to feel, and then fear, real fear. That he had pushed away the wrong child. I smiled politely and ended the call. Apologies, I told the audience. Important business update. The hall erupted in laughter. When the ceremony ended, Dad rushed toward me, arms open, voice shaky. "Sweetheart. I didn't know. Why didn't you tell me?" I looked at him with the calm of someone who had healed without an apology, because, I said softly, "You told me I was on my own." He blinked. "Can we start over?" I shook my head gently. "I've already built my life, Dad, and I learned one thing: family isn't who shares your blood, who shows up." Then I turned away and walked toward the cameras, the students, the future I built with my own 2 hands. Behind me, Dad stood alone, just like he once left me. Revenge wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was simple. I didn't need him. He finally realized he needed me.